Hello. I have to take a guess here who you are. I guess you are watching this video because your butt hurts. Not just figuratively, but actually your butt hurts. It probably has been hurting for weeks or for months. And I guess you have a spot in your butt that is really tight, so tight that you can't sit on it. Well, I'm sitting here, so I very clearly not me. I'm over it, but you might not be able to do what I'm doing, which is just sit down. And it might come up with all sorts of other problems, like pain down your leg or elsewhere in your pelvis or in your lower back. I guess you probably have seen your doctor and maybe a physical therapist or a massage therapist or all sorts of specialists maybe, and they might have called your problem piriformis syndrome or something else, or they may not even have had a name for it. Chances are none of those specialists could make you feel better for long. And also, you're in pain. Some of them might even have done something that made it worse or doubt that you have any problem or whatsoever and send you home thinking that you all imagine it. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be searching for random videos late at night or whenever it is that maybe have some clues how to be in a little bit less pain. So I figured that is why you're here. And if so, then keep going. Let me first tell you my story. My story was, and I have to first say, I feel with you because I've been exactly in the place that I just described. It were about 5, 6 years ago. I was in the exact same spot as you are. Um, One day, a muscle that I didn't even know I had, somewhere deep in my butt, decided to cramp, and it wouldn't stop cramping. It felt like this, golf ball or this kind of thing, really hard thing inside my butt. And and first I couldn't sit down, and I figured, well, okay, that's probably gonna go away, like cramping muscles in a few days, not such a big deal. But then days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and it would not go away. Not only did it get better, but it actually got worse. The pain got worse. So first, it was just a little muscle that cramped, this single one somewhere deep in my butt. Then my entire pelvis started hurting. Then all these cramping muscles started squeezing my sciatic nerve. That's the big nerve that goes down your leg. And so I don't know whether you have that or not, but it can happen. If so, it feels like there's this gigantic vise that is basically sitting on your leg and squeezing and never letting go. The leg is actually fine, right? But it doesn't feel like it because the nerve is being squeezed, and that makes the entire leg hurt and tingle. And then my SI joint got into the action. The SI joint is at the bottom of the spine, and all the weight of your body basically sits on that SI joint. And there's lots of nerves that go through little openings in the bones there, like this. And so, guess what happens if there's lots of muscles in your pelvis all around? Start pulling the SI joint in all sorts of directions, like really, really hard because they're so very tight. Well, more nerves get squeezed real hard, and so there's pain, 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 and more pain. So of course, for a long time, I didn't know any of this, as in where the pain come from and what the mechanics were. Only that my butt hurt, and more and more body parts were hurt, and I went from doctor to doctor, from therapist to therapist, and none could help. Sure, there were some people who were very confident they could help me. They weren't so confident a month or two later when nothing that they had done and had me try had worked. You might have had a similar experience. Now, one of my doctors, a self-declared specialist, actually made things much worse for me when she injected me with something that she said would relax the muscle and make the pain go away. It did for 2 days. But after 2 days, after the injection, my muscles were just as tight, but my pain was about twice as bad. And I stayed at that level for months afterwards. And I really tried finding somebody who would help. Over the months, I visited 10 different medical offices, often many times, of all sorts of specialties. And some of these offices had several people work on me. So then an entire army of people worked on me. Some were medical doctors with various specialties, like sports medicine, several physical therapists, massage therapists, chiropractors, and more. Not all of them were making no difference. On the negative side, other than the doctor I just mentioned who made the pain twice as bad, another doctor with a long list of degrees and specialties wanted to surgically cut the tendon of the tight muscle, the piriformis muscle. Boy, am I glad that I decided not to return to another appointment with him. If I had followed him, based on what I know now, I would be permanently maimed, right? Cut the tendon, and I believe the pain would still be there. On the positive side, one of my chiropractors really joined me in trying to figure this out, and he could my SI joint could make the SI joint pain go away for a few days at a time. That was an incredible, great relief. The rest of the pain was still there, but at least some of the pain was a little better some of the time, and he proved that the pain could actually change to the better and not get worse all the time. Which, if you were in the same position as I was, is you get some doubts there. If over weeks and months it just gets worse and never gets better. So, and there's also a few physical therapists that have relevant knowledge if you know where to find them. I found them too late because by the time I was already well in recovery. So notice this word I just used. I just used the word recovery. Yes. After almost a year of incredible pain, of taking high doses of opioid pain medication by the alarm clock, well, because if I was off by even half an hour, I would be in so much hurt. After all of that, I got better. Very slowly, but better. Week after week, month after month. So today it's about 5 to 6 years after when it was the worst. I have not had this pain or anything like it for several years. My piriformis muscle, which is the little one that is so bunched up, has not acted up. Nothing hurts. I can sit here. There's no issue whatsoever. Nothing is cramped in my butt. My SI joint is fine. My sciatic nerve is fine. There hasn't been a shoot down my leg for, I don't remember. It's such a long time ago. The best, I'm fully confident that I will never have this pain again. And that's because I now know what the problem was and what I did and what I did, how it fixed the problem. If I had known what I know now, it would never have gotten as bad as it did, and I would have recovered much, much sooner. But I didn't know, and none of the doctors I talked to knew, and no book that I read, and no video that I watched knew, and so I could stuck with the pain for way longer than it needed to be. So I don't want this to happen to other people, if I can avoid it. So I made this video and a few others that follow this one. Let me introduce myself. My name is Johannes. I have a background of all sorts of things, but they're not relevant here. Think of me as the guy who recovered from severe piriformis syndrome and is here to tell the story. This video and the rest of the series are a gift to you to tell what I learned and what I would do if I ever had this problem again, which I'm confident I won't, but if I did, this is what I would do. In other words, the kind of information I wish I would have had when I was in so much pain as you maybe are right now. People have kept asking me what they should do with similar conditions, and well, do I have a moral obligation to share what I know if my knowledge can reduce somebody else's pain, even if I don't know them? Well, I don't know. Nobody talks about moral obligations anymore these days. All the world's cultures over hundreds and thousands of years were all about moral obligations. These days, it's all somehow just about how can I charge somebody for some overpriced medicine that then doesn't work. Well, never mind. Obligation or not, I'm going to share what I know because it might help reduce your pain and make me happy that I could help you, even if I don't know it. Notice here comes a big disclaimer. I'm not a medical doctor or any other kind of healthcare professional. I have some degrees, but in engineering, not in anything related to human bodies or medicine or anything like this. So this is not medical wise. This is advice. This is very strictly this is what worked for me kind of story. Certainly, you need to talk to your doctor to make sure that there isn't something else going on in your pelvis. Like you might have a serious problem with your spine, or you may have had an injury from an accident or something. There may be various medical conditions that really are very important before you believe somebody like me. And I don't know anything about these medical conditions. I'm not a medical professional. I can only tell you what worked for me. So this video is only for when your doctors haven't found anything remarkable, like it was for me, and your butt still hurts. Then I think it would be useful for you to hear what I learned when the professional advice was useless for me. Don't follow me blindly with anything that I'm saying. In fact, this is really important. Finding out how to treat your own body Your own body that's unique and different in many different ways from mine is at the heart of what I'm about to tell you. You have to listen and understand your body, and then you can fix it. And I give you some hints of how to do that. There is no do this 3 times a day, swallow the red pill at noon and the blue one at night, and you'll be fine kind of recipe in my videos. Because this is not how this problem can be solved. At least not that I would know how to solve this problem that way. Instead, it's a process of discovery. It will take a long time, weeks and probably months. So if you follow my path, it requires commitment. It requires you to think and to ponder and to try out things, to play Sherlock Holmes with your brain and your body and follow the clues, and it requires lots of time. On the other hand, if you're like me, in so much pain, or I was in so much pain, finding a commitment at time is easy. anything to make the pain go away. So it's as good as a motivator as I can think of. But what I'm telling you is not hard. It doesn't require any money, or almost none. You don't need to buy anything or join a club or anything like that. You only need a floor that's reasonably soft, like with a carpet on it or a yoga mat or something. The carpet is perfectly fine, and a wall, and a corner of a wall, and maybe some furniture or a couple of pillows that you have anyway. And I believe that you can do this. Because I believe you can get out of this pain. And I have good reason to believe this, because if I could get out of it, you can too. There's nothing special about me. There is no reason to believe that if I could get out of the pain, you can't. Of course, you could try to prove me wrong, but I'd rather have you prove me right on this point. So you can do it too. I wish you the very best. So there will be a bunch of videos after this one, each covering one issue. That way, you can easily go back to a specific video if you like. I recommend you start in the beginning of the series rather than jumping into the exercise of some other video in the middle, because that will probably not work, and you will be disappointed, and your pain will not improve. And that's because I'm not giving you a set of things to do. Right? I said no such thing as do these exercises 3 times and you'll be better. Well, I will give you some exercise like this, but that's not the important part. The important part is that I give you a way of thinking about what your body does and why it does it, and a bunch of suggestions what to try to find out more about why your body does what it does, so you can understand what you need to do so it does something else. As you do that, you will learn what your body needs, and do that and learn more, and then you'll do that, and it probably better about these videos and me and all that, because you have learned how to fix your pain and your body yourself. That's the goal. I figured it out the hard way on my own, with lots of literature and smart people, but the assemblage of the parts is mine. I hope that these videos give you enough hints so you can figure it out too, and much faster than me. Let's go.